Hello everyone, this is AJ and welcome back to the channel. Now, about 20 years ago, I had a good friend who once told me that if I had the opportunity to sit and watch Nicolas Cage saying nothing for 2 hours in a darkened room, I would jump on that opportunity. So what am I going to do when I do get the opportunity to see a screening of The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent? I'm going to jump on it, aren't I? So let's find out my thoughts on this new Nicolas Cage movie. Okay, so yeah, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Now, this is a film that's coming out here next week in the UK, as in on the 22nd of April. It's got a 15 rating and a runtime of around 1 hour and 45 minutes. The film stars Nicolas Cage as a kind of cartoon caricature version of himself, and it also stars Pedro Pascal, who you will know as the Mandalorian more than anything else, I guess. He was in Wonder Woman 1984 also. And proceedings are popped up by character actors like Neil Patrick Harris, Sharon Hogan, and a wealth of other faces that you may or may not recognise, as well as a cameo appearance at the very end of the film that I'm not going to go into at all in this review and spoil who it is. So, yeah. Now, this film is written and directed by Tom Gormacher. Now, Tom Gormacher was sort of like a writer on a TV series a while ago called Ghosted, a few years ago, sort of comedy series. And I did watch that and I did enjoy it a great deal. He's not really done anything else apart from another project in 2014. But also in the writing chair for this film, he is joined by Kevin Eaton, or Etten. So the two of them wrote it. Tom Gormacher is the film's sole director. Now, you've seen the trailers for this, no doubt. This film sort of follows Nicolas Cage. He's a bit cash-strapped, like, you know, and he gets the opportunity to go to a fan's place for $1 million and spend some time with them and party and this sort of a thing. So he takes the opportunity because film roles are running dry and he's considering retiring. Only it turns out that this fan is the head of a crime lord family, and the CIA want Nicolas Cage to go in and basically act as a CIA spy agent and get information on whereabouts of this girl that has been kidnapped to force a president to basically of the country to resign their presidency and all this sort of stuff going on. So that's all unimportant because this film is primarily about Nicolas Cage, Pedro Pascal and their relationship that builds up throughout the course of this film. Now, from the get-go in this film, the film opens with a scene, the end scene from Con Air. Now, one of my favourite Nicolas Cage films. So I was grinning from ear to ear pretty much all the way through this film. Yeah, this review is going to be very positive. I can tell you that now. Because I love Nicolas Cage. He's an actor that I do really enjoy. And of late, he has made some dross. I will accept that and say that. And a lot of his films of late I haven't actually watched because they are pretty bad, and you know, but every now and then he still knocks it out of the park. But one thing I will say about Nicolas Cage is he does deliver in every film that he does. He tries. He doesn't just sleepwalk his way through roles. He will do something of interest in his performance. And this film is no different in that respect. But is the film actually any good? So anyway, so like I said, I told you about the story. Now, the film is a comedy. Essentially, it is a comedy, and it's always great when you get an actor who's able to send himself up and who is acting, you know, who is happy to send themselves up. And in this case, Nicolas Cage is more than happy. He has digs at his films, you know, he talks about his good, his bad films, you know. He's going through troubles in it with his family life, with his wife and his daughter. He's struggling with money. He likes to spend. This is played upon in the film. But the heart of this film is around the sort of bromance between him and Pedro Pascal. Because even though Nick Cage starts becoming untrusting of him, they build up this friendship. And it's great to see. The two actors work well off of each other. They are back and forth, all the way through the film. There's such chemistry between Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal that you just cannot look away. When these two are on screen together, they are just fantastic. Not only that, but Nicolas Cage does play a younger version of himself in the film, also popping up as his character that was in Wild of Heart. Nicky, he calls him. And, you know, and there's a wonderful scene where Nicolas Cage actually kisses himself. Yes, the two versions get into a snog, and this is sort of like a sort of dig at how much Nicolas Cage loves himself and this sort of a thing, and it's just hilarious. This film just plays on it. You know, Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage within this film. Pedro Pascal is wonderful. Obviously, the film does spend a lot of time on this bromance and all this silliness about, you know, Pedro Pascal has written a script and he wants Nicolas Cage to be in it. But what Nicolas Cage does is he takes the opportunity to pretend to make another film, or working on making another film, Pedro Pascal, to try and find out the answers on what the CIA want with this missing girl that's been kidnapped at the very beginning of the film. I won't go into any detail and plot points, but needless to say that Pedro Pascal is sort of... Is he the villain of the piece or isn't he? I'm not going to say. I'm not going to spoil any more. I'm not going to say any more about the story of the film. But I will say that the film has some wonderful moments in it. It has some very funny moments. And these two are just wonderful together. The plot of the film in itself is secondary. The sort of, when it gets into the sort of actiony side of things, it's sort of secondary. But there are laughs to be had throughout this film all the way through. There are physical laughs to be had. There are laughs in the writing of the film and the way these two characters bounce off of each other. They are just a wonder to watch. I can't really say any more about the film. I mean, this would definitely at the moment be one of my top films of the year. I really did enjoy it that much. It was a whole lot of fun. I laughed a lot. Like I said, I was just smiling from beginning to end. But if you're not into Nicolas Cage, then you may not like this film, and the jokes may not land for you. If you're a big Nicolas Cage fan, then you are going to love this film. This film is a love letter to the fans of Nicolas Cage. Yeah, if you love him and you know his stuff, this film is for you. It truly is a wonderful time. The pacing is very good from beginning to end. The film does have a use of foul language in it at times. It isn't overly violent or anything in that sort of a sense, but it's you know, it's just a joyous time. And I loved it. I can't say anything more about the film other than that. I loved it. Go and see this film if you love Nicolas Cage or you enjoy Nicolas Cage movies. It's great to have Nicolas Cage in a film that's hitting the cinema again, and I hope this is a turnaround for his career, and it propels him onto some other stuff bigger than what he's been doing of late, because that's what the film kind of goes into, the state of his career and this sort of a thing, and the fact that he does work all the time, but he makes some valid points within the film as well about how his work ethic also. But yeah, just a joy. Just go and watch this film. I loved it. This is AJ. I'm getting away, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care all, and goodbye.